Do better. Step one, guys, you buff the waifus. Then you know what you do? You buff them again. That's right, we're going over some predicted changes. Remember, predictions here to Yoimiya as well as Kamisato Ayaka coming out in the new Inazuma patch. They have announced the official reveal sort of stuff this week. Yes, they're doing a video. If you guys want to watch along, we'll be streaming it on Twitch. Go hit the link down there in the description and check that out there. And then obviously it's sunny outside. Everyone's outside. Pray to the algorithm gods with me, hit that subscribe button and hit that like and leave a comment down there about which characters you're looking forward to the most. Me, guess what? Quick flash, I'm looking for the main character getting that electro form the most. Look for a lot of cool stuff about that character when it comes out as well. So let's talk about Yoimiya real quick. She did get some pretty sizable buffs here. We're also going to be going over some of the other stuff real fast that didn't get changed, so you guys can kind of know how she works here. So she's going to be a pyro damage dealer that also does damage off the field with her elemental burst. She's going to be likened like if Child and Hu Tao had a kid. Pretty much, she's very similar to Hu Tao in Child. She's got like a different stance, right, in her elemental skill that did get buffed. So her elemental skill, what it does do is the fire dance. It used to have a 20-second cooldown, now it has an 18-second cooldown. But on top of that, the animation whole deal, the whole spiel you do when you cast the skill, it got shortened by a lot, which is a pretty big deal, honestly. It's like a half a second off. So what it does do is you hit it up and it changes your normal attacks to pyro damage, and then they also, instead of having their own multipliers, they go off the multipliers of your elemental skill here. And so that didn't change, but it got lowered cooldown and it's faster to activate. This is where the vast majority of your damage is coming from inside this 10-second duration. It's got an 18-second cooldown there, so 2 seconds of more DPS there for you, and then like a half a second off the animation for you there. So 2.5-second kind of buff here for her main DPS skill. That is awesome. 10-second duration with an 8-second word downtime, right? You activate it and then you're good to go. So that's gonna be a fantastic thing for you there. And then her elemental burst, to keep in mind what it does do here. So it's going to do some AoE damage. It's not a very high multiplier. It's like 120%, 228% at max level there. But what it's going to do is apply a Auroreus Blaze debuff to an enemy. Now, what this does is when someone attacks that enemy who's got this debuff and it lasts for 10 seconds, they will blow up for big AoE pyro damage, like 219% per tick there. You can proc this every 2 seconds there, so 10-second duration, you can get 5 procs out. That's an extra 1,000 multiplier there. The thing about this though is that she can't proc it. So what you're gonna be doing, use your elemental skill, you pop, you use your elemental burst, and then you leave, have someone come in, do their own sort of off-field DPS sort of shindig, use some more support skills, use whatever, do damage to the dude who has got the debuff on, and then swap back in. And that's why that 2-second cooldown reduction to the E is pretty good there. It's pretty good. So you're gonna be able to come in here, get 5 procs, swap back over, good to go there. So that's gonna be something awesome there. Her ascensions now, keep in mind here, she has Tricks of the Troublemaker here. So during Fire Dance, you are going to get bonus pyro damage, and it can have up to 10 stacks. So every time you do pyro damage with your normal attack, remind yourselves, attacks are pyro damage inside of your Fire Dance. So what you can do here is you will get up to 10 stacks of 2% each. That's 20% free power damage. You'll like to see that there. Her second ascension here, Summer Scorch, is going to be playing off of Tricks of the Troublemaker. So what happens here is when you use your elemental burst, everyone else is going to get 10% attack for 15 seconds. In addition to that though, they'll get an extra 1% attack per stack of Fire Dance that you had from Tricks of the Troublemaker, those pyro damage bonus stacks that you can have 10 of. For every stack you have of that, when you use your elemental burst, you're going to get an extra 1% attack. So she can give herself 20% pyro damage, and then because you've been in your normal attack stance there, you're going to use your elemental burst, swap out and give your whole team outside of yourself 20% attack. So it's going to be a very nice thing for Yoimiya there. Now we do have some constellations here. Remind yourselves here, C1 here is going to make the blaze effect from her elemental burst last 4 seconds longer. But on top of that, when you defeat an enemy with that debuff on it, you're going to get 20% attack for Yoimiya. So that's going to be pretty nice there. Her second constellation here, when your pyro damage scores a critical hit, you get 25% extra pyro damage for 6 seconds. Love to see it there. C4, when Auroreus Blaze triggers an explosion, the cooldown of your Fire Dance is reduced by 1.2 seconds. So what this does is it kind of is a little bit weird here, right? You activate your stance, you go in there, you have 10 seconds of just fire all damage, you use your elemental burst, you have 8 seconds left in the cooldown, you swap back over, you can proc a debuff every 2 seconds and it lasts for, I don't understand this one, because it just makes you want to swap back into Yoimiya faster. So this really allows you to swap back and do more damage with Yoimiya, though you're going to be swapping in with that tick of the elemental burst floating around out there that she can interact with. So you're going to be losing damage from the elemental burst tick, but you're going to be gaining self damage with Yoimiya. So that's C4. It's a little weird there. I don't know. Her C6 is pretty cool though. So during fire dance, your normal attacks have a 50% chance of firing an extra arrow. They deal 60% of its original damage. So say you're doing 10,000 damage per arrow, random number, you'll do an extra arrow that does an extra 6k. So that's free damage. It's free damage. It's also considered normal attack damage as well. And yeah, the rust is going to be very good for this character because the main source of her damage comes from normal attack. So very strong. That's why Hu Tao and Child kind of had a baby there. Pyro damage comes in and out with that pyro imbue from her elemental skill there. And it's all normal attack damage. So you can do a lot of damage with rust. Now, Ayaka did get some changes here. She did get a nerf though. So let's start off with the nerf. She got a nerf. So what they did, they changed a lot of her normal attack scaling. Remember, this can always change back, but it's really not that big of a deal. So what they changed here in her normal attacks is all of the different normal attacks that she can do. She's got a 5-hit combo. Some of those are multi-hit. So her 4th hit is actually a triple hit. The non-multi-hit one, so her 1st hit, her 2nd hit, her 3rd hit, and her 5th hit here, they got some pretty severe damage downs, especially the 5th one. The 5th one is the brunt of it, but it's not that big of a deal, guys, because the vast majority of her damage comes from her 4th hit. That's a multi-hit, and her charge attack. So keep that in mind. Her charge attack didn't get changed at all. It's where the vast majority of her damage comes from in her normal attack charge attack combo anyway. So she got a slight tap there, but it's to keep, you know, in mind all these buffs that she did get. So what happened here, her E has a slightly larger AoE. It's there to do, you know, 430% damage every 10 seconds. That's really all it does. Remind yourselves that she has that unique sort of like little go under the ground like Mona. When she comes back up, she will imbue herself with cryo as well. So that's where you're gonna have that little gameplay sort of gimmick with Hu Tao, where you go down for a second, come back up, and then start doing damage. And it's all gonna be cryo with your charge attacks as well as your normal attacks. On top of that though, the elemental burst did get some significant changes here. So big change on the elemental burst. Sometsu Gate that it summons, it's this giant snowball of death that kind of roams at an opponent. What it does now, guys, is it's a little bit slower than before, because it had a problem where it would just like zoom right through enemies. It's slower than before, and it can like lock on and try to just murder something, which is very good because this thing can hit up to 20 times. If it hits 20 times, it does so much damage. It's got 200% multiplier on activation, and then it can tick 20 times. It's very, very strong, and it does up to 303% multiplier per hit. So it's a very, very, very high multiplier move there. You max it all the way out. So very strong stuff. It's gonna just kind of like maneuver through enemies sometimes still, but nothing like before, the whole like zoomer, not trying to lock on anything, brain dead snowball sort of thing that it did beforehand. Remember, a lot of this stuff can change. These are just a little bit of predictions, okay? The good news continues here. Moving on, we have a change to her ascension here. When you use your elemental skill, your normal and charge attacks are going to do 30% more damage. You get 30% increased charge attack and normal attack damage for 6 seconds. It's got a 10-second cooldown, so it's got a 60% uptime. Pretty good there. Then we have her second ascension here, and this one is pretty cool. So when you cryo apply with your sort of Mona dash thing, you're gonna get 10 stamina, which is gonna give you back the stamina from using your dash, and you're gonna get 18% cryo damage. Now this was 10, now it's 18%, so this is a big buff here in comparison to the small little nerf on her normal attack combo chain, because remember, the charge attack didn't get changed, the multi-hit didn't get changed, just got a little bit of less of a multiplier on your other ones. So the vast majority of where she does her damage is getting an extra buff from this, and then like the other little piddly stuff is going to get lowered down. So all in all, she could be a little bit better than she was before if you're using her in the correct scenario. If you've played Kaching before, you know that a lot of her damage comes from that double tap charge attack. Well, now you have Kamisato Ayaka with the triple tap charge attack. So that's gonna be a good thing for you there. Now, constellations did get some changes. Let's start with C6 right away, because this one is the biggest rework. It used to be something about whenever you do, cryo damage, critical hits, you get like a 10% damage bonus for 3 seconds. You're gonna stack up to 5 times. No. Now what it is when you do this critical hit thing, you're gonna get a buff that lasts for, I think, 5 seconds. And what it's gonna do, it's going to increase your charge attack damage by just under 300% for your next charge attack, which is very, very, very big. Imagine if you like double melt that thing or something. Ooh, so good. So that's going to be a pretty substantial burst damage increase for that charge attack. Remember, you also have her ascension. When you use your elemental skill, 30% charge attack damage there. So you're gonna have a lot of charge attack damage increase here for Kamasari Ayaka if you choose. I know a lot of you guys have been saving for her since before the game even came out. So if you're going all in for that C6, that's gonna be a pretty substantial increase for you there. Now, her C1 before used to be when you do normal attack cryo damage to enemies, you have a 50% chance of reducing the cooldown of her elemental skill by 0.3 seconds. This got changed to be normal and charge attack cryo damage as well. So that's gonna help you out there. Remind yourselves, her E, not the super most important thing, not where all of her damage comes from, but remember, it gives you that 6-second buff. So if you can shave off a little bit of time, right, from her elemental skill being cooled down, right, 0.3 seconds here and there, charge attacks or triple hit, that's gonna help you out there as well. That could be something to keep in mind. Also has a 1 second internal cooldown on being able to proc that multiple times, which is a very short thing, but 0.3 seconds over and over and over, a full combo with a charge attack, right? That's 6 at minimum 6.3 seconds. So it's going to be a 1.8 second cooldown off of your elemental skill there. There's some other things to copy and talk about for her here. Her charge attack does have a larger hitbox now, and the attack range of her auto attack has been a little bit changed up there. On top of that, the 5th attack, it's going to sort of make more sense why they nerfed that one so hard here, because what happens is now you're not like animation locked into just like doing some weird stuff with it. It's shortened. So it's going to be, if you're choosing to do that, if you have to do that because you're out of stamina, that's why that one has taken the biggest DPS hit, because it's actually shorter than it used to be before animation wise, guys. And as before, let me know what your favorite character between these two, or maybe it was Kazuha, or maybe it's someone out in the future. I'm looking forward to the main character. I'm looking forward to everything in Inazuma, man. It sounds awesome. I can't wait to watch the live stream. So if you want to do that, come and join us. Come join the Discord. There's a good gang of people down in there. If you need some help in Genshin, you need to build, you want a guide review, anything for that for yourself, check us out and I'll see you there.